Hey there, horror fans, how's it going? I'm your host, Douglas here at John Boy Productions, bringing you another Screaming Ghostface Collectors video. And today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of awesome Ghostface items from Madabouthorror over in the UK. And one extra gift item that has nothing to do with Scream whatsoever, but it's still really cool and I think you guys will like it. So let's go ahead and dive in. But first, if you don't know who Madabouthorror is, they are your best option for horror goodies over in the UK. They sell masks, props, costumes, all sorts of different stuff, other collectible merchandise items as well, from companies like Fun World, Trick or Treat Studios, and many more. So if you're watching this and you're a horror fan in the UK who's trying to get your hands on any kind of masks, props, costumes, especially anything Scream and Ghostface related, be sure to hit them up. They have always a great selection of Scream and Ghostface stuff. And thankfully today they were actually able to help me add an item that I missed out on that was going to be very difficult to get on the secondhand market, and they got it for me at a great price. So I really appreciate that. Let's go ahead and take a look. We'll go ahead and start things off with a bang with the item in question. Here we have the Ghostface Roto Plush. This thing is awesome. Whenever I first saw the first leaked pictures of it, I loved it. From the style of boots, to the shape of the Buck 120, the mask, and these things are pretty large as well. I do believe it is an 18-inch figure. I could be wrong on that one, but I think these are 18. It may say it on the box somewhere and I'm just ignoring it. As for the packaging, speaking of said box, it is kind of basic. You've got this blood drip going down the back here, Ghostface, the icon of Halloween, of course. On the sides here, the typical TD stamp Scream 4 imagery with the icon of Halloween, and the same on the other side. As for the top, yet again, the Ghostface logo with the icon of Halloween copyright information, and on the back, pretty much the same thing, but a close-up image of the mask, and it says, Mezco Toys, by collectors, for collectors. Now, when these first came out, they were $100 retail plus shipping. And I missed out on it at the time, didn't have a ton of money, they sold out pretty quick, and boy, did they hit the secondhand market. Pretty much like everything else these days, regardless of whether it's Scream and Ghostface related or not, it seems that a lot of these collectibles just get bought out and then resold on the secondhand market. I really didn't want to pay $200 or $200 plus for one of these, and I'm not saying that they're worth that. I'm just saying that people have been asking that. In my opinion, it wasn't worth it. I didn't want to pay those prices, so I thought, you know, I probably just won't get one until eventually it either pops up for trade or for sale somewhere down the road. Lucky for me, however, I contacted Madabouthorror and they did have one remaining. And of course, we were able to work something out. I was able to get this bad boy, and he made it all the way here safe and sound up until he made it right to my front door. Unfortunately, we have a new UPS worker. I saw him toss the box from the back of the truck to the front of the truck, and from that, we did get a nice little ding and crease right here in the top of the box, but it was nothing to do with how they packaged it. It was packaged very well. It is unfortunate, but it's nothing too major to complain about. Now, something else I did find odd that I had to contact them about was the inside of the package is actually kind of dirty. Like, there's a residue on the inside of the plastic, and there's actually some like dirtiness on the forehead of the mask. So I thought maybe they had opened this one up to use it as a display model or something like that, and that's the one they were selling me. That's not the case, however. Apparently they did just come kind of dirty from the factory. So that's pretty disappointing if you're going to be paying $100 for something like this, and he doesn't really come with a lot of accessories or anything. It's pretty much just Ghostface and the Buck 120. And that's another thing, you can't really see the Buck 120. It's hidden over here in this part of the packaging. I think it would have been a good idea to put it somewhere visible, because the Buck 120 looks very accurate. It's one of the best looking Ghostface knives I've seen for a toy like this. Overall, there's really nothing to complain about. Madabouthorror did a great job. Mezco did a pretty good job on these. As far as the actual product itself, it's pretty cool. A couple of things I would have changed with the packaging, and whatever's going on with the dirtiness inside, that's kind of weird, but still a really cool figure. Here's a quick better look of it for you guys who may not have been able to see it due to the glare. But of course, I will be giving you all some nice close-ups of it as well. But I will not be unboxing this fella. The next item is a mask that is not for sale, but was gifted to me by Charlie. Whenever he went ahead and sent me this package, he included this thing in there, and I had no clue it was coming, but it just so happens to be one of the few variants that I am missing. Here we have a Scream 4 tagged EU stamp Ghostface mask. And this one in particular happens to be from the perfect year, a 2017 copy. Of course, for those of you who don't know, this is also one of the style masks that was sent to set for Scream 5, and I do believe this may have actually been a mask that was considered for set or something along those lines. If you guys have never seen it, there's an awesome video over on a Nice Edge, that's the name of the channel, put it on screen, where he actually receives one of these masks from Mr. Tim Wagstaff over in the UK, and Tim said that this was one of the masks that was claimed to be going to set to Scream 5, or maybe it was from set and came back. I don't quite remember, but I think it was more so it was considered to be a production mask, but was ultimately not sent to set, something along those lines. Either way, this one happens to have the ghostface.co.uk sticker on it, which, if you have a mask that has come from Tim Wagstaff, typically it will have that sticker on the tag. So I do believe this is possibly one from that very same line, or rather the exact same lineup of masks that was going to be sent to set. So I can't confirm that 100% one way or the other. This thing has just arrived, but it's absolutely beautiful, and I do not have a mask from this era that is tagged with this style tag. So that is a very, very cool gift. And to end things off, we have something that has nothing to do whatsoever with Scream or Ghostface, but is still really cool, and I think many of you watching will still appreciate it. As well as being a Scream and Ghostface collector, I do consider myself to be a Goosebumps collector as well. I've collected it ever since I was a little kid. However, I don't really go online looking to purchase rare items like I do with the Scream and Ghostface or the mask collecting stuff. It's more so I'll grab whatever I come across if it interests me, or if it's something I can just find in the wild in general. This was not something I found, but something just some random member of one of the Goosebumps groups did find and didn't grab. And I was honestly completely shocked because this thing was in absolutely immaculate, perfect condition. No bends, no tears, no rips, no problems whatsoever. Completely originally factory sealed, and the asking price was ridiculously low, and they passed on it. So I commented saying, look, if you don't want it, if you go back, I'll buy it from you. They went back, they got it, I asked them how much I owed them for it, and they said nothing at all. I'll just send it to you as a gift. And as far as I know, the person that did this is not a viewer of the channel at all. They're not a fan of mine or anything like that. Just a kind soul who was like, sure, you want it? I'll pick it up for you and send it to you. However, there is one negative to the situation, and I'll address it as soon as I show you the item, so let's go ahead and take a look. Here we have a very, very rare Goosebumps Dreadheads Monster Blood. This is such a cool product, guys, and one of the rarest indeed. If you all watch my Goosebumps mask video, where I collected the original parachute press masks, you would hear where I talked about they did make a fake blood back then that was considered monster blood. It was a green blood, they had little capsules, they had whole tubes of it, and there actually were some other variants of monster blood to some degree, more so being slime instead of actually just fake blood. This is one of the products that contains said monster blood. It's going to be a little bit difficult to see because of the plastic, but I'll go ahead and read it to you. At the top it says, not a food item. I'm going to go ahead and let you know, don't eat this, it's not candy. Goosebumps Dreadheads. Turn the head around to reveal compound that vibrates, wiggles, and oozes. With green monster blood. Trademarked, of course. And of course the shape of this one is Cuddles the Hamster, one of the cutest mascots from all of Goosebumps. And it says Cuddles the Hamster, book number 18. Turn it to the back, this is where it gets really fun. Goosebumps Dreadheads. For more terrorific fun, look for other great Goosebumps toys. It's all in the head. When you turn Cuddles the Hamster's head around, you'll find a can of green monster blood. Just one spoonful of the stuff turns him into a drooling beast who loves a big feast. Creepy, cool to the touch monster blood is a compound that seems to have a life of its own. It wiggles, oozes, and vibrates when tapped. Package includes Dreadhead and a can of compound. After play, place compound back in a can and seal. Not a food item, yet again, in very bold lettering. Then if you look on the side over here, there actually are some other characters that have the same slime inside. Well, different colors, but still the same thing, I'm sure. You have Slappy the Dummy with blue vile ooze, the Haunted Mask with purple monster muck, and the Ancient Mummy with yellow mummy matter. And at the bottom it says, use the opening in the back to hang your Dreadhead wherever you want. So I guess if you didn't want to play with the ooze, or you lost the ooze, or, you know, got it covered in all sorts of weird stuff in your carpet, then you could just use the plastic head as a wall decoration, which is still pretty cool. Now, as I stated, there was one negative effect to them sending me this for free. When they posted a picture of it, it was completely mint condition, new old stock. Not a bend or fold in the card. The plastic was a-okay, no problems whatsoever. Unfortunately, however, during shipping, the plastic did release from the backer. It didn't rip a lot of the graphic, it just released. The glue's old. So that kind of sucks, but what really sucks is that the card did get bent up a good bit on one side. And again, for a free gift, I really appreciate it, and I cannot say thank you enough to the person. I've already thanked them in private, and they did ask not to be named in the video. They're like, don't worry about it. But at the same time, I do really appreciate the gift. It just really sucks that it was in such great condition, and poor shipping or handling ended up causing it to look like this. But nonetheless, yet again, I really appreciate the gift to the kind soul who decided to send this my way. And with that being said, guys, I think that pretty much wraps it up for this video. Not a whole lot to take a look at. We've just had the nice 2017 EU, the wonderful Roto Plush, and of course, the really creepy Dread Heads by Goosebumps. Well, viewers, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Of course, I'll be sure to give you some close-ups of these items, but there's not a whole lot to take a look at. Hope you enjoyed today's video, yet again, and see you next time.